Good evening, Marshall Reddick investors, and thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar presentation on the Indianapolis, Indiana market. For those of you who recognize my voice or knew I was hosting today, this is Kristen Tabar. I am your realtor advisor and realtor here with Marshall Reddick Real Estate. Also, for those of you who don't know, this is a really exciting presentation for me to host because I own property in the Indianapolis market. And it's one, obviously, that I know and love, and I'm really excited to present tonight. So again, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. We are going to hop right into it. We'll do a quick sound check. So you guys can just type into your little question panel. Let me know you can hear me. Make sure everybody's clear. And we will jump right in. So again, I mentioned my name is Kristen Tabar. I've been with Marshall Reddick Real Estate for 4 years now, actually as a result of my husband and our VP, Scott Pastel, having gone to high school together. We reconnected at their 10-year high school reunion a couple of years ago, and the rest is history, as they say. So really excited to be able to practice what I preach here with Marshall Reddick and helping my clients to be able to invest in real estate and build a portfolio like my husband and I have been able to do as well. That's my handsome hubby there in the photo and my 2 little kiddos. The reasons that I come to work and make money. Eventually, I want to stop having to come to work to make money and have our investment properties pay for our lives for us. So a little bit about me. Definitely happy to share more of my investment experience and everything that we've done. It just takes a quick phone call from you guys, and happy to always talk about anything real estate related with anyone who wants to listen. Clearly, I like to talk. All right, I'm also licensed here in California. It's a newer thing to Marshall Reddick Real Estate, but we do work with our local clients here, not only buying and selling property, but also managing them as well. So those of you California owners or investors out there, keep that in mind. Those of you who are joining us for the first time tonight, Marshall Reddick Real Estate is a full-service brokerage here in California. We work with our local buyers and sellers, helping them to buy, sell, and manage their rental property. We also work with teams across the nation to help our investors to do the same thing. So tonight, we're excited to hear from our Indianapolis agent, who I will introduce in a couple slides. And in addition, as part of our network, we have vendors, including but not limited to CPAs, lenders, insurance providers, et cetera, that help our clients through the entire process of their real estate transaction and then with management for the life of their transaction. So a lot of our clients appreciate that we are a one-stop shop that makes investing very easy. We have a couple of criteria, as you can see, that we like to look at when we're evaluating markets. Our Indianapolis, Indiana market checks off all of these boxes. I'm not going to read each point to you guys. I'm hoping, since you registered for tonight, that you can read those points for yourself. But definitely when we're evaluating new markets or reevaluating our current markets, these are always things that we look at to determine whether or not we believe it's a strong investment for our clients. So we are in 16 major markets across the U.S., several in California and all the way to the East Coast. And of course, Indianapolis is one of them, one of our more popular markets as well. And we're excited to share info about that market with you guys tonight. So we are going to do a quick poll question. Make sure you guys are still all paying attention and listening. The answers are totally confidential. So we just want to kind of get an idea for everybody's level of experience and want to find out from everybody if and how many rental properties you currently own. So we'll go ahead and give you guys just a few more seconds so we can get everybody's answers on. Again, we're not going to share whose replies are whose, but we will share the results as far as kind of a broad spectrum. So I'll give you guys just a couple seconds in 3, 2, 1. All right, so we've got a pretty good mix here. About 43% don't own any property yet, so hopefully we'll be able to change that in the near future, get your guys' investment portfolios up and rocking. 35% with 1 to 2 properties, 13 with 3 to 4, and 9% with over 5. So looks like a lot of you guys are in great shape, and we're really excited to work with those of you who want to beef up your portfolios a bit. Thank you guys for participating. All right, so really quick outline for what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to talk ins and outs of the Indy market. We're going to present some investment properties, and then we'll close out at the end with some questions if we have time. And of course, you guys can type into your question boxes as we go. And if we get to the end and we run out of time and you feel that you haven't quite gotten all the information you're looking for, you can definitely give Christopher or myself a call, and we'll make sure you get all of those details. So, moving right into the meat and potatoes and why everyone has hopped on tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce everyone to Mr. Christopher Haven-Jones. He is our specialist and agent in the Indianapolis, Indiana market. An excellent agent to work with. I've worked on several transactions with him. He's very responsive. I feel like he's got his phone like strapped to his head. It's like he always hears it ring. He always is very quick to get back. And such a pleasure to work with. So without further ado, I would like to bring on Mr. Christopher Haven-Jones.
Oh, Kristen, that is a wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. And hello to everybody out there. I'm glad we have some good attendance, and I am happy to be on the webinar to talk about my city. And a little bit about me. My name is Christopher, and I've been a real estate agent for about somewhere between 13 and 15 years. I could look it up if I needed to, but I have worked with everything from the market correction, where all of my sellers in the first 3 years needed to bring cash to the table, which was a great time for investors to buy, to new home, first-time home buyers, people that are now growing. I'm now selling them into their retirement homes, some of my families, and I also work with luxury. But uniquely, I really enjoy all of the people that are brought to me by Marshall Reddick. It's exciting for me to work with investors that are small families and are looking to do what Kristen has done, and start building a small empire so that eventually you have invested your way into retirement. And I take great pride in my career that I can be part of that journey for you guys. So what we're going to do tonight is kind of go over a little bit about my city, why I love it, why the numbers and show it's good to invest, but also I want to show you some of the heart of Indianapolis, which is, the people and our initiatives for growth, which can then be monetized by you, because a lot of people are here for a reason or a season, and then some of them are like me for a lifetime. And those reasons and seasons are where you're going to be able to find people to rent the assets that we would like to bring to you. So I am an agent with Keller Williams, and I've been with them for about 3 years. I am a team leader. I own a team which is called the Jones team, not as original as I would like, but it is what it is. And I have a assistant broker. Her name is Sarah Van Bachlen. She is unfortunately not with us tonight, but she handles quite a bit of the research and asset location on my behalf, and then we present them to you together, and we discuss strategy and try to get you into the house. And so we'll discuss the contracts, we'll discuss everything that is unique about Indiana real estate to make sure that you understand what you're doing, and then our job is to then get you into the house on the terms that are acceptable to you. And if we would move on to the next slide, we can begin talking about what is amazing about Indianapolis. And again, I am from I'm 100% biased. I am biased to particular sections of the city because I have great, and I'm old now, but I still have high school pride. But this city is amazing. It's always growing. It has a huge eye on the nation and international people to come and visit and to really pull in not just tourism, but to pull in major jobs and major companies to bring new people into Indianapolis. And so on the tourism side, of course, we have the Colts, we have the Pacers, now we have the Fever, which is the national leading women's team. We are stepping into. We can go back, Chris. We don't need to go forward just yet. I'll cover those. But thank you, though. We can. We also have soccer stepping up. We have an internationally renowned zoo. We have one of the nation's leading children's museum, as well as internationally renowned. Our art museums are world class, and we're attracting all sorts of restaurants and unique food artisans to the city, which creates a nice critical mass to become an attractive jewel here in the Midwest. For a long time, we lived in the shadow of Chicago and to a lesser extent St. Louis, which are both only 3 hours away. But here, we're starting to compete. We'll never be able to compete with the size or having river access like St. Louis or port access like Chicago, but we certainly have worked very hard to create a destination city. And with that, we become very attractive to jobs and to companies that want to come to a new city. We offer many tax incentives that it's too detailed and convoluted to kind of go into, but we have a very comprehensive incentive program to entice these large companies. We've been Eli Lilly has been housed here since its inception. This is where Mr. Eli Lilly is from, and as you know, it's one of the largest manufacturer and R&D for prescription drugs. And they have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of jobs, and they bring people in consistently on contracts which can last anywhere between 1 year to 5 years, which creates a market for executive level homes that are going to be used by white collar employees that don't necessarily want to live in a small apartment just because they are here on a job. And so that growth has been exponential in my lifetime, and recently here in the last 5 years, we've been growing with Salesforce. We've been growing. Eli Lilly has been growing with another campus. Dow is growing. They're all creating opportunities for people to live and work here in Indianapolis in a very affordable city that is starting to collect all of the attractive activities and pride of city here in Indy. So now our prices versus rental rates, again, we are very affordable. We're actually the most affordable place to live as far as major cities are concerned in the nation, and that does pair up with our rentals as well. Majority of our rentals are going to land in the $1,100 to $1,250 range. Now we do have quite a significant market above that range that crust into the 13s and 16s, and we also have some in the lower B and C market that come in below those range. But what that means for you is there's lots of opportunity to find the asset that is affordable for you in your plan. It allows you to look forward and project growth and project how you can collect a handful of smaller assets, rent them for a while, take the equity, and then purchase a larger asset in a larger market for a greater cash flow. All right, moving on, Kristen, if you would. Again, here's some examples of the stuff we have to offer. The Indianapolis Repertory Theater, it is part of a nation's allegiance of theaters called the League of Regional Theaters. It has top-notch equity performers coming in from all over the world to create full seasons and also creating opportunities for youth and creating, again, opportunities that are attractive to the people that will be moving into Indianapolis and looking for the homes we have to provide. Our Central Canal, this is actually a nice snapshot. And the first picture that we had of Indianapolis, that is a good shot of our canal. It's the same canal. It runs straight through our downtown, creating just a nice environment. We work very hard, and we're continuing with the cultural trail, which is an extensive brick walking path that is spreading out to the downtown through all of our neighborhoods. Again, trying to connect all of our small suburbs into one cohesive, centralized city that becomes a destination. And of course, we have the Colts. Go Colts! Go Slides! And the museum that we can go back. We can talk about the museum for a minute. The museum, like I said, there is our Children's Museum. It's world class. Of course, we are the home and the creator of the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. And this picture, actually, of the White River State Park, is a good look at our canal and our skyline and part of the White River State Park campus. It's been a huge initiative to create green space and to not just leave it wild, but to create spaces where people want to come and enjoy the city. Once again, adding value to the city as a whole, which will then create value for the people that are coming in that could be your renters. All right, moving on, please. All right, here are some of the facts, and I'll let you review those on yourself, but it kind of is a summary of what I've touched on. We are the 15th largest city. We house the NCAA, so that's how we're considered the amateur sports capital. We go on and on about these attributes, and we've hosted the Super Bowl once. We always have the Brickyard. We have the NCAA basketball finals. We host the international diving finals, the Grand Prix, of course, the 500. And again, a lot of our money in our city council works very hard to create opportunities that are cultural. We work hard on ancillary education, as well as making sure that all of our school systems are receiving the benefit of the taxpayer dollar, and pushing hard to make sure that we create a level playing field for all of the city, which is important as our suburbs start to fill. Investors frequently look at the Trulia metrics for a school system, and and we can talk about this when I call, when you give me a buzz, but I challenge a lot of the Trulia metrics because they're taking such a small portion of the school, when in actuality, Indiana and Indianapolis specifically ranks very high nationwide as a general baseline for education and for our educational programs. I think we have one of the country's leaders in the International Baccalaureate program, which actually begins in kindergarten, and we were one of the first cities in the nation to start implementing that program. And it's a program that is for elite students that pretty much guarantees them entrance into any university worldwide. It's very attractive to academic-minded families and to families that really want to give their children the best opportunity. All right, moving on. All right, and what I touched on before about being 3 hours away from many major cities, we did get the nickname of Crossroads of America, and you can see our little diamond is right where Indianapolis is. And Chicago, we have access, 3-hour access by car. When I go, which is about once every 6 weeks, I typically take the train. I'm able to work. St. Louis is 3 hours away. Louisville is 2 hours away, and much of Michigan, including Detroit and then recreational Michigan, are between 3 and 6 hours away, which again adds to the general attractiveness of our city. Our location is amazing, and I'm sure you have looked at the rankings of international airports, but Indianapolis has been number one for quite some time, and we don't seem to have any challengers. But again, those are less important than what we're about to look at now, which is some of our neighborhoods and some of our areas in Indianapolis. This has all been a larger picture of why our city is attractive to people that are coming here. And now we can start to drill down on people that are living here or they are coming here that can use your help, and you can be of service to by providing assets for them to rent. Again, our rental market at the price point that we're looking at and at the rental rates that we're looking at a handful of markets. The executive level, we're looking at specialists that are being recruited in here for contract work, whether it be for Lilly, Raytheon, Dow, a lot of the Fortune 500s and Fortune 1000s that are here, Salesforce. They bring in consultants that are project managers, and they're only here for, anywhere from 6 months to 4 years. But a lot of times that is not appealing when they know they're going to be leaving to purchase a house. But that doesn't mean that they need to be confined to, apartment living. They want to have, reap some of the fruit of their endeavors through education, through their work, and live in a nice house. And as you can see, our regional employers are very strong, with St. Vincent's, IU, and Eli Lilly leading the pack, all over 10,000 employees, and then community health as well. And then we have, all of these regional employers just kind of demonstrate and they support that we're a strong community. And we have a lot of people that are purchasing homes, but also, as I mentioned, we are looking for renters. And outside of the people that are doing contract work and are just coming in for a couple of years, we have families that are wanting to be in particular school districts or particular areas because of family. Maybe they're not able to afford the down payment. They're not, for whatever reason, they're not in a position to purchase a home, but they are very strong candidates for renting. Again, you're able to provide a service, provide an asset that they can rent and take care of as it is their home. It is a symbiotic relationship between the evolving family as well as the evolving resident, between you, the homeowner, creating assets and providing space for them. And in return, they get to feel like they're in a home, and they will take care of it as though it was their home. And all right, moving on, Kristen, let's take a look at, I don't know how many of these will be attractive to you. We do have some of these homes, but we do have quite a bit of educational draw as well. We have several private universities, including Butler, and we watch their great basketball championships. University of Indianapolis, which is fantastic for educators as well as musicians and a lot of liberal arts. And then IUPUI, which is our commuter campus for both IU and Purdue. We have a lot of professionals that are coming to these commuter campuses to step up. We also have students that are going to be here for 4 years and may be looking for affordable group housing. Now, the homes we're presenting today probably will not match that criteria, but again, if it is a market segment you're interested in, student housing, we do search for those with different tools, and we certainly can provide you with inventory to review. Give me a call or give Kristen a call to discuss what those opportunities might be. But the School of Medicine, let me take a glass of water. The School of Medicine, as well as the School of Law, we do attract international students. And this is an opportunity for you, for a postgraduate student who is going to be a different caliber than our undergrads, that will be basically living a life while attending a very rigorous education program. And studies have shown that the environment you live in can have a direct impact on your performance in school. And so we have seen quite a few of our investors be able to rent to these folks with a considerable amount of success. Kristen, if you would. Alrighty, I'm going to let you guys review these slides on your own, basically because it's pretty dry, and it's looping around again to Indianapolis is great. I'm very passionate about it. I believe strongly that this is a great city for you to invest in. I am biased because I grew up here. I did leave for some educational years, but I'm proud to be back. But just looking at the one item where the last 19 years, 39.6 population growth is amazing. We just don't see that in very many cities while maintaining this level of affordability. All right, Kristen. Yep, more bullet points of why Indy is great. As I touched on, we are great for business because we do work hard to incentivize these new companies to come here and to make this their permanent housing. They bring their staff. They also bring a tremendous amount of jobs, which allows a lot of our residents to step up and to be able to step in to greater assets. And if that is a beginning family, that's a young person who is just stepping into the world and wants to test the water for adulthood, renting a home versus an apartment out in the suburbs is much more attractive than previously. The only thing offered were small spaces. Apartments and small spaces provide a service and a need, but I don't think I've met very many people that would trade in the opportunity to live in a house with a yard with 3 bedrooms versus a 2-bedroom small apartment. So again, all of these numbers are taking you to the same place. Indianapolis is a fantastic place to call home. It's a fantastic place for businesses to call home, and for you as investors to buy into Indianapolis and to create opportunity and to create for the people of Indianapolis. It's a rewarding thing, not only because it's a good thing to do, but because it will reward your pocketbook with your passive income. Because again, as we're going to start to see, we are one of the lowest, if not the lowest, cost of living cities of this size in the nation. And before we move on, this middle bullet point, Fishers, Avon, Carmel, and Greenwood, those are what we call the donut counties. We are circled by 465. It's an interstate that goes all the way around Indianapolis and Marion County, and you are either inside or outside of the loop. And all of these little towns, they are very wealthy towns. They're emerging markets. They're developing. And Greenwood and Carmel have been established for quite a while. Avon and Fishers are emerging markets, but they're well established, and they're very lucrative. And people are moving out that direction to be near the city, but also to have time and to have the suburban feel. All right, we can move on, Kristen. All right, ranked 5th in the 20 best cities for new college. Again, these numbers are just reinforcing my point that Indianapolis is fantastic. And for my engineers and other friends of numbers out there, the 2.5% job growth is in the last year. That has been consistently growing at that rate, and future growth projected at 37.5. As you can see, that's tremendous. It's on par with our last 19 years of population growth. So we are able to provide a good city with good housing and good job markets, which for you allows for renters as a bridge stepping into adulthood. Or again, please don't underestimate how many people are only coming in for 3 to 5 years because of their specialty and because of the R&D for the companies that we have attracted to Indianapolis. And again, the 30% of Indianapolis residents, that number, that feels a little bit conservative, but also because I grew up here, and the majority of my contemporaries have been to school, a lot of them in Indianapolis and Indiana. But we are a growing city that takes great pride in our education, preparing our students for higher education, and that all begins with you. It circles back to you, and you creating opportunities for families to step into homes they may not otherwise be able to afford, but it creates a platform and it creates a jumping off point to step into the next level of success. All right, Kristen. All right, again, we have low unemployment rate. I'll let you review that slide by yourself. As you can see, I mean, we're down to 3.1, so it's up from last year, but as you can see, we stay below that 4% consistently. And that is, get a copy of the market data. Kristen and the team over at Marshall Reddick have put a beautiful packet together. You can download it there at metropolitan.com/Indianapolis. Or when you give me a call, if you have not had a chance, either Kristen or myself can email you the link or a PDF version of that packet. Are we ready for houses, Kristen? Okay, yes, we are. We are about to look at...
We're almost at the house.
Almost, I'm getting excited. But
I know.
Okay, so go ahead. All right.
Oh, I was just saying, I know I'm excited for inventory too. We're almost there.
Okay. All right. So the main thing on this page, in this slide, again, it's I mean, I always bite my tongue because these presentations, of course, Indianapolis is going to look like a shining star. That's our job. We do it slide after slide after slide. The important takeaway for this one is that our tax rate is below the national average. Now, we'll explain this to you again when we go into contract and we're looking at inventory and discussing particular assets. In Indiana, in our Constitution, we have what is called a Cap 1 and a Cap 2 written in for property tax. Resident owners, they are capped at 1% per year, which means that every year their taxes cannot go above 1% of their assessed value, which is different than the appraised value. And when we are putting together our asset-specific presentation for you, we show you what the current assessed value is, and we estimate off of a Cap 2, which is a rental property or non-owner occupant property where you are capped at 2% per year of the assessed value. And again, yes, our values, our appreciation rate right now is crazy. It's creating a surplus of buyers right now because the sellers are holding on to their price. But for you, again, that creates an opportunity for renters to step into assets while they wait for some of those other properties to become available. But just over the last year, wow, 10.4. Thank you, research team at Marshall Reddick. That is a number I had not seen before, and that fills me with who's your pride. All right, moving on, please. Kristen, do you want to do this slide, or I'll be happy to touch on it briefly. Basically, in a nutshell, and Kristen can give you the details of how it impacts you. But if I'd like to take your attention to the year 2006, and then we'll look again at 2008, where we had the market correction, as we like to call it in the industry. The nation at large calls it the depression, or when it crashed. But if you look at Indianapolis, we rebounded immediately. We immediately rebounded from 2006 to 2007 into a positive appreciation. And then again, in 2008, when we had the major correction, 1 year later, we were able to bounce back and have positive appreciation on our properties. And we've just been growing leaps and bounds and appreciating year after year after year. Kristen, do you want to fill that in a little?
Yeah, I definitely do. This is a really good snapshot of why we really like the Indianapolis market and what keeps it at the forefront of our investors' interest is because even if you look at the highest, the year with the highest decrease in property value, it was still only 7%. And we've I mean, there's markets across the nation that were down 20, 25, even 50% in their values in 2008. So the fact that these numbers and the dip was below 10% is phenomenal, and the properties really held onto their value very well then and now have gone back up and even surpassed what the height was in 2005. And it's been consistent and sustainable because, like Christopher has said, leading up to this point, there's so many jobs there and there's so much economic growth and there's such an influx of people year after year after year that it really drives up the price, which is great for everyone who bought a few years ago, and it's great for everybody who buys now as interest rates are low and property values are continuing to climb. So it's really one of those markets that lends itself to really good cash flow. It's a good, steady Eddie market, and this snapshot shows you that, you know, historically it's been steady, and the future projections show that as well. This also shows you the rating system and that median home price there at $187,000. That was 171 just last year. So you can see that the growth has been phenomenal. The median home price has gone up, which is excellent. We definitely don't want to see it go in the other direction. And this will give you a basis for the rating system that you see on the properties when we get to those, which are just a few slides away. So again, if you have questions on how we arrived at this or where this data came from, please call me or email me, or reach out to Christopher as well. We work together and we're happy to definitely answer any questions that you guys have on any of the data, especially the statistics on the market.
Thank you. That was much, much more clearly articulated than I could ever do. Kristen, everybody at Marshall Reddick is fantastic. I have grown fond of everybody that I work with, but Kristen is very special and dear to me because she does own here in Indianapolis, and I don't think a week goes by that I have not tried to talk her into selling her properties. I would like to sell those properties, Kristen. Okay. And while we're coming back,
they perform well.
They do. Let's share the savings. Let's step up. Time for you to level up. All right. Okay. So let's get back to it. And just for everybody out there in the interwebs, I am here in Indy, so it's 10:11 here. I'm at home, and if you hear snoring in the background because my mic is picking up, it is a 16-year-old little pug, and she has found gone sound asleep. So if that becomes a distraction, I apologize. But if not, welcome to my life. This is how I do my business. I become involved with you. I become very involved in the transaction. I have a great passion for this kind of work, and I am driven to help you succeed. I like to talk about what your dreams are and what your goals are, and then how can I be part of building that life for you. All right, and so here we are with Indianapolis rentals going up, 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 up. We had a small dip, but then again, we are above our high once again. So Indianapolis is a city that you could very honestly describe as resilient. We adapt well. We're conservative with our numbers and with our money, so that when we do have an adjustment or a shift in the market, we recover, we adapt, and we thrive through it better than much of the nation. Moving forward. All right, this is a quick little snapshot of what Indianapolis looks like and what our markets look like. So when we are talking about different areas in the city, I will direct you to a map similar to this, just so that you know whether we're talking about the north, the south, the east, or the west. The first image on the left, that is our school districts, and frequently it's easier for me to disseminate the information and to organize it in a way via school systems. The counties are familiar to us out here in Indiana, but by looking at assets one township at a time, we're able to focus your energy in on what's happening in a concise area that has one thing in common, which is a school district, which all of them are very strong. And as we go through some of the individual properties, I'll spend good amount of time showing you why I disagree with what Trulia has to offer, because a lot of those scoring metrics that are pulled are from arbitrary data that a lot of times have nothing to do with the viability of a rental property as it relates to the success of a school. All right, moving forward. And this is Mike Taylor. He's one of my buddies here in Indy. We offer one of the things that I offer is I research and I interview property management on your behalf. I have several in my Rolodex. Mike Taylor over at Reddick Property Management has been a favorite of ours for a long time. He takes great care of the customers. It's a family-owned business, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. But he is a one-stop shop. A lot of his maintenance work that your property may require is done by his team. He has an extensive application process for your tenants, and he makes sure that not only do you have just pictures, but you have walkthrough videos at the beginning, at the 6 months, and at the end of the year. He is a SoCal grad. Normally he's here to chat about himself. So suffice it to say, he's a great guy. He works hard. He believes in what he's doing, and he will work hard to make sure that your asset is maintained well and that the tenants he helps you find are of the top caliber and meet the stringent criteria. No convictions, no evictions, etc. Good salary ratio to the rental income. He does a great job. Next slide, Kristen. And this is more of Mike. These are just more of his attributes and the services he provides. And we like to send people to Mike, but we are aware that not everybody's a great match. So if ever you find that a referral of ours is not what you're hoping for, please don't hesitate to call Kristen or myself. Like I said, I have a wide Rolodex, and I'll work hard to make sure that you are comfortable not only with my job as finding the asset, but then with placing you with a service provider who is going to be with you a lot longer than I am. What's that adage, Kristen? You're dating me as the agent, but you're marrying the property manager. So
yes, you date your agent and you marry your property manager.
and we work hard as a team to make sure that it's a good marriage. So Mike does offer a network break, which the leasing fee, which is normally 100%. He does break to 60%, and then the monthly fee, which is normally 10%, is at 8%. We do have similar opportunities with other property management, and I'm happy to help negotiate on your behalf for a break. But one thing I do want to touch on, while we all are very interested in the bottom line, sometimes the path to that bottom line is not straight down the ledger. So if we negotiate too hard and go below that 60% fee or below that 8% management fee, then we run the risk of interests not being aligned. We want to make sure that you're getting a fair price, but also that you are attractive to the property management team so that they will take the extra time and work with the Marshall Reddick clients and make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And that's with every management. This is a great deal, 60% and 8%. And whenever I do, but I will be quite transparent when I have people ask if I can negotiate below that. I give them the same talk. It's not always about what we're paying, but the value needs to be there. And I assure you that with anybody that I refer at whatever rate, I see the value and I stand behind that value, and I'm only presenting it because I want to share that with you.
Thank you, Christopher. Really appreciate that. And I'm glad you went into some detail. Like Christopher said, Mike Taylor and his team at Red Door are our preferred team. They're actually the team that manages my properties in the market as well. But certainly we understand that management is not a one-size-fits-all type of business. And so like Christopher said, he's got a large Rolodex. He works with a lot of investors, not just our clients, and is always happy to share experience and numbers and get us connected so that we can ensure that for the life of your investment, you're being taken care of in the way that suits you. So keep that in mind as we look at properties. And here we go. The fun part, Christopher, we're there.
Thanks. I was looking at an email. All right, we're here. Okay, so this is, like I said, I am the team leader. So being the boss, I literally know nothing that happens within my business. I leave it all to my outstanding broker associate, Sarah. She does a large portion of this research, and she has pulled together 4 properties for us that I will present to you. And the way we're organizing this information is that I know the properties, I know the areas. Kristen will be able to elaborate on why it's of value to you. But I would like to encourage you, if any of these interest you, to please find time to call me or call Kristen for a one-on-one chat, because we try to do these in an hour. I always talk too much, so I'm looking at the clock and saying I've got 10 minutes to do 4 properties. So we're going over, but we would like to discuss these with you in detail and answer any questions that you may have, that you had coming in that I may not get to, or that I have inspired by rambling on. So let's dive in. 11502 Presidio Drive, Indianapolis. It is this is a unique property because most of the properties of this size in the B class, we're seeing that are over 150, moving into 175,000. So there are a handful of neighborhoods, a handful of townships that are staying below that for the time being. It's largely because there's still a lot of undeveloped land out there. But at 130,000 with dollars, it's quite a low acquisition price, and your gross rent for the year at $13,800 is stepping up into a higher level of what we're seeing for our rents. This is a great area and a great asset in Lawrence Township because it's one of our workhorses. You hear a lot of national attention on Hamilton Southeastern or Franklin Township, but out to our north and our south. But our eastern side, Lawrence Township, has been a workhorse for a very long time. Their properties go up well, they are maintained well, they hold their value, and they service the largest section of our hourly or junior management positions. And so these homes are very attractive not only to renters but also to owner occupants. And this particular property has a lease on it that is in there until the 5th of September, and I've been told that they are interested in renewing their lease. So if you wanted to step in to have immediate cash flow, this is an opportunity for you to do just that. It means your repair costs are low, your vacancy is nil, and you're able to manipulate the reserves and show even a greater positive cash flow. Kristen, do you want to fill this in now, or do you want to circle back in your notes? How do you want to manage?
I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple bullet points now because they're going to be consistent for each property, and that way folks viewing you will know what you're looking at and be able to formulate questions as you have them. Again, you can type those into the question box. Anything finance related or related to the numbers on this pro forma, go ahead and shoot. I got you covered. So this is a B-class property. That's why you see the 10% estimate for maintenance and vacancy. Remember, these are not being deducted. They're just estimates that you should consider because at some point during the time that you hold your asset, you will have tenant turnover and you will have maintenance. We just don't know when or how much it's going to be. So we plug in that 10% based on the B-class property rating. You'll also see a down payment of 25%. Remember, the minimum on a single family is 20. We default to 25 because generally speaking, you're going to see a better return and a more favorable interest rate if you're able to kick in that extra 5% for your down payment. The last thing that I want to touch on is the leasing fee at 50% of 1 year's rent. So as a whole, what we at Marshall Reddick have found is that our clients tend to hold on to a property for about 15 years. So all of these estimates are based on a 15-year hold. And throughout that time, on average, we see a tenant turnover every 18 months. Now that's, of course, with renters that stay maybe 5 years, maybe 2 years, maybe 7. But on average, we see that every 18 months. So what that calculation is saying is that if you put aside the dollar amount that you see here at $383 per year, and the annual view is a little different, but the monthly fee will show you that if you put aside that dollar amount per month, every 18 months, you will have accumulated 50% of 1 month's rent. So for this, it's saying the $383.33. If you save that it's saying put that aside every year, and every 18 months you'll have put aside what the leasing fee will cost you should that property go vacant. So on an annual view, it's $383. On a monthly view, it's going to be less than that, but that's what that calculation is saying. Everything else, the taxes, Christopher explained a little earlier, they're based on the current tax assessment. And the insurance is a quote that we get from our preferred provider based on the square footage, the location, etc. That insurance number could change for each individual because there's other factors that we cannot consider as part of the calculation. Additionally, the interest rate is an estimate based on current market data, and that could be slightly higher or slightly lower depending on the individual who is applying for the loan. So the numbers you see here are as accurate as we can make them with our team and their expertise. And those figures are going to be the same, and that info is going to be the same for each property, but you will see different numbers as they populate for each individual asset. So with that having been said, Christopher, let's jump to the next one.
All righty, and Chris and I were talking about this. You look at the name, 4158. We were able to get under we knew how to say that. I am confident, Kristen, it is Can Apple because this neighborhood is Orchard Valley. So continuing with the Apple theme, I'm going to say this is 4158 Can Apple Drive, and it's a nice little home tucked away in a nice little neighborhood at $140,000. The financing on the previous deal for this property fell through. So we're only 12 days on the market with this one. It was built in 2004. It's got it's on a larger lot, not quite a quarter of an acre, but it is getting close to that size. So it's got a good yard. It's attractive to people. There's opportunity for improvement. I know that you are not privy to the pictures, but if you give us a call, we'll be able to send you the listing. The colors could be described as unique and customized to the family that live there. They're not miserable, but you would want to spend, maybe $1,500 to $2,000 on this property to paint it a neutral color and maybe take care of the carpet and some of looks like exterior trim. Not bad, not a bad property at all. It looks like Orchard Valley rents pretty quickly, and all these properties, it has taken less than 3 weeks on the market for the ones that have been leased in this neighborhood to be leased. So, all right, Kristen, do you want to add on to that, or you want to move on to the next one? Oh, Kristen, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and let us jump to the next one, but just want to let everyone know again, if you have questions on the financials or want more details on the actual property, type it into your question box, or again, you can call, email, text myself or Christopher, and we'll make sure you get everything you need. So let's go ahead and hop to the next one.
Great, thank you. I know it feels like we're rushing through these points, guys, but our inventory, that really is something that requires more than just a kind of quick browse. We picked 4 that are cash flowing, but to really dig into what our market has to offer, it does require a little bit of time. And I welcome the calls, and so does Sarah, to take 15 minutes to a half an hour just exclusively to kind of show you what we have and how this market can work for you. So now moving on to one of our smaller assets at 27 South Sheridan Avenue, Indianapolis. That's in another side of our town. That's to our west, which is in Warren Township. And this is a solid blue collar network or neighborhoods where you're going to find people that are coming in to rent and will be renting for longer, 3 to 5 years. These are people that are residents of Indianapolis and have grown up here, and they want to be on this pocket of town. And we have a good number of rentals, but what you are able to provide are a good number of rentals that are of a stronger quality that will then create an environment that will gentrify and help support the efforts of the city. Because this house, again, I have the pictures in front of me. It's all been neutralized, brand new carpet, brand new tiles, looks like brand new paint. It has fresh cabinets. It looks like it's a solid surface on the countertops. Overall, it looks like a great move-in ready property. I would say that the only spend on these if you move in is to pay to have your locks changed, because I always recommend they pay to change your locks. Warren is fantastic. This particular neighborhood is Tilford and Thrashers, and they are generally this 3-bedroom, 2-bath model, and this one is right at 1,372 feet with a garage. And so we're going to see a lot of that size home in this neighborhood. It's great for acquisition because it's $135,000. Again, flowing positive and keeping your acquisition cost under $150,000. Chris, you want to move on to the last one?
Yep. Here we go.
Okay. Alrighty, this one we were looking at just before we came on, and this one I need to do some research because it is been released from its listing contract without sale. It's one of our higher acquisitions. It is an A-class, Hamilton Hills and Fishers. This is the type of home that somebody who has been brought in to work as a specialized professional, this is going to be the home that is going to attract them. And our rentals in this neighborhood, Hamilton Hills, are going to be much higher. A conservative estimate on this rental would be $1,500 a month. This house is got a huge yard. It's finished impeccably. It's got hardwoods. It's got solid stones. It's really a gorgeous property. And I'll be happy to show it to you if you give me a call or if you have an interest in this one. But again, this one is going to be more expensive. and to break in to an investment market where we are really attracting the higher end clientele, where they're paying north of $1,500, $1,600 per month for their rentals. We're going to be looking at acquisition costs of 170 to north. This is almost 190,000. And since this is the last property, I do want to take a moment to discuss where pricing and where contracts come together in Indianapolis. That magic number is right around 97%. In our Fishers areas, in our Franklin townships, when we see properties come on in the first couple days, we're going to see a tremendous amount of activity. If it's going to sell for above list, it's going to do it within those first few days. After that, we are going to see slowed activity, but we're not going to see anybody taking, in my experience in the last 15 years, the majority of the properties that we're looking at in B-class neighborhoods, A-class neighborhoods, 97% of the list price is about as low as they're going to go. And that's not to say that I'm going to insist that you purchase a property that you may think is overpriced. If I think it's overpriced, I'm going to tell you, but instead of getting into a series of negotiations, we're going back and forth and it's revolving around price. It's more expedient for you to move on to a property that is priced closer to the market average and then negotiate with it at 97%. Now, that's pretty much all I have tonight. I think we've covered it. Indianapolis is great for me. It's great for people. It's extraordinary for business. It's fantastic for you. This is just a quick glimpse of what inventory we have. It's too hard to do this in an hour and really show you all of the assets and all the opportunity that we can provide for you here as investors in the city, and how that we can work to grow your passive income while you help to grow our city. But please, if you have any questions, you just want to talk about the market, you want to ask me about my pug, give me a call or my email address. It's very simple, christopher.jones@kw.com. I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Christopher. We definitely want to hear about your pug. I do anyway.
He's fine. He's looking.
So we're going to I haven't heard any snoring, so you must be very entertaining. Or she stopped. All right, guys, we're going to do one more poll, just kind of take a temperature of where you guys are with the properties that we showed. So just a quick snapshot of what everyone liked with regard to the properties. So let us know which one was your favorite. And then again, if you want more information, we can definitely talk about the properties on a call, talk about the areas. I'm happy to share where they are in proximity to my properties. As I mentioned, mine do perform well, and a lot of the neighboring areas are also very strong. Our management team manages a lot of inventory all around the circle, like Christopher mentioned, both inside and outside the circle. So just want to get an idea for what you guys like, what returns looked good. So we will give you just a few more seconds in 3, 2, 1, and let's share. All right, looks like Presidio was the big winner here. Personally, I think it's because the name is the most fun to say. Everyone else was probably confused about can apple as well. But anyways, 36% thought Presidio was the best one. Look forward to hearing more on why that seems to be the most popular. And then you guys can see how the others followed suit. So again, we just wanted to get that poll out there, get an idea for what our clients like and what everyone was interested in. And we'll hop through the rest of this. I know a lot of you are joining us from our local Pacific time, and it's 7:30 those of you who are closer to Christopher's neck of the woods, it's after 10:30. So we're going to get through this, and then again, anything else that you guys want to talk about, we are open for phone calls and texts and emails. So if you're interested in reaching out to myself and setting up a consultation, it's complimentary. We'll talk about your experience, what you're looking to do, what you're looking to spend, and put that into a search for a property and start to build your portfolio that way. So here's my information on the screen. You can reach me directly with the details you have in front of you now. That is my cell, so that 8999 number also receives text messages. So please feel free to reach out and contact me. We'll set up a consultation. This is what that consultation looks like, a quick snapshot. Again, it is much more involved, I think, than a lot of people realize. It's not just calling and saying, I want to buy a property, what's a good deal, or where's a good market, because that is different for everybody. A good deal is subjective. Something that's good for me personally may not be good for someone else. So we really talk through everything that you're looking to accomplish, time frame, area, etc., and make sure that everybody fits so that when we're ready to get all the key players involved, everyone's on board and everybody's ready. And why is it important to have a plan? Because if you want to build a successful portfolio, you need to learn how you're going to do that and put it all into place so that you can be consistently building and consistently growing. And one investment property, people, does not make you a millionaire and is not going to give you financial freedom. So the best way to invest in real estate is to have a plan over the course of years where you can build on that one property and turn it into two and then turn it into four and get yourself to a point where your income monthly is enough for you to maybe work a little less, maybe take an extra vacation, whatever that goal is for you. And for those of you who haven't seen it, this is actually my and my husband's rental portfolio. So it dates back to the first property that he purchased in Scottsdale in 2006, all the way up to our most recent acquisition in Cape Coral just a couple weeks ago. So the only way that this is possible is because we have a plan, we save a certain amount of dollars every year, and every 18 to 24 months, we're able to put another property in our portfolio so that we can get one step closer to not working as hard and spending more time out in the world and traveling and having fun than sitting behind computer screens and telephones. So that's why it's important to have a plan, why it's important to have someone on your team like myself or like Christopher who is interested in helping you to build that and create that kind of portfolio for yourself. So I definitely look forward to speaking with everybody. I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Mr. Christopher Haven-Jones. It's such a pleasure doing presentations with you, and I'm really glad you could join us and that we could keep you up this late.
Thank you. I love these. I love doing them. I love working with you, and I really hope to hear from some of these people that we're talking to. It gets lonely talking into your computer, but I embrace the crazy. So have a good night, everybody. I hope so this helps.
Thank you so much, Christopher. And again, to everyone else, please text, call, email, and we'll also be reaching out to everyone who was in attendance tonight just to make sure that you got everything you need and to see how we can help. So good night, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you very soon.